Okay, it looks like we're all getting in. Gotta love all the technical stuff that comes up at the last second, right? When you think you have all your I's dotted and your T's crossed. So thank you everyone for your patience. I believe there he is. I thought I might have done it right. Welcome, Mr. Freddie Kemmel. Thank you so much for joining us.
Can you make me a co-host?
I surely can. The best part.
The best type of host. Let's
Yes,
get
you get
this.
to do it with someone else.
Yeah.
Teamwork, dreamwork, every time.
We're getting a camera going.
What will Mr. Kemmel be wearing today?
Oh, wait. Here we go. One more plug.
I don't know if you guys follow Freddie on Beautifully Broken World on Instagram, but I got to see what Freddie would look like today as Batman. It was wonderful. If you don't follow him, Beautifully Broken
Um,
World has an amazing podcast. And
you
you
need to.
too can see Freddie as Batman.
I do a good Batman. Yeah, sometimes you got to switch up your avatar. I will. We'll give people transformational stories here. I need to be able to see. I'm just going to adjust this camera. Transformational stories. Great. We'll give people 3 to 4 minutes to get on before we hit record. I promise we can get through all the great interviews and conversations we're going to have, as well as making a few fun, exciting, dynamic, lucrative, energetically enhancing announcements.
You
So we
guys
have
catch all those adjectives?
34 people. Oh my goodness. We got to say hi to some people. Carla, Kathy, Chiara. Hi, Dan, Felicia, Gina Scott. How you doing? Greg, Gloria, Heather. There's Jackie. There's Janet. There's Joan, John Bacon, Jordan Dunnan. Hey, Jordan. How you doing? I see Jordan's content all the time. Carrie Usselman, Kristen, Laura, Lauren, Lisa, Maria, Marjorie, Mary, Mason. Oh my God. I'm not going to keep going because people keep popping on. Now we're to like 40 people. So this is great. Now, listen, I want to offer this. We had a lot of people on here that were just on our ambassador call. So we want to honor you for spending all this time with us. We know how full your schedule is by design. We know everybody out there has deliberately filled up their calendars and their schedules with things that fill their heart and light their souls on fire. That's your sub for saying I'm busy. I'm not going to say I'm busy anymore. The other thing that we're not going to say, if it resonates with you, is I'm sorry. Unless you stick something sharp in somebody else's arm, we overuse the word sorry, which I am really on right now. I am not sorry for your pain and suffering, which is going to lead to some glorious growth. And without all the different frequencies and experiences and hardships and elations in the world, it'd be like a flat sack of potatoes. So I'm here for it, whatever it is, the good, the bad, the ugly. That's what I have to say. So Magnolia, it's 4:36 and we're already recording. Thank goodness. Let me make sure I have screen sharing capabilities. I do.
Yeah, that was a gem. So I'm really glad we caught that on recording.
Like you do. Like you do. So I'm going to pull up this screen and we are going to make I'm going to make a pre-announcement. I'm going to say that we're going to talk about one thing. Let me do this. How do I want to do this? I don't want to spill the beans before I spill the beans. Right. Here's how I'm going to do this. Great. So share screen. Boop. Share screen. Great. Team, how are you? Welcome to the AmpCoil Transformational Stories celebrity call. This is kind of what it is. So the team has been working really hard on the AmpCoil side of things on developmental technologies, and we have a special announcement. And what I'm going to tell you is you're really going to have to stick around to the end of the call to hear the special announcement for a couple of reasons, because we're here for transformational stories. But I would be remiss if I didn't lead with the fact that AmpCoil has a new product out, and we're going to talk about it at the end of the call. We're going to go into detail and more detail. Now, we did present this to our ambassadors, which was just a short few days ago, last Thursday. And now it's time to start talking about this with our broader audience. So I'm going to tease this just really, really quickly with just one picture. We're going to say, the world is changing. The team's listened, we've researched, but here we are with a brand new product, which is our AmpCoil PEMF mat, which so intuitively retrofits to our current device optimized for our 3.0 and is a glorious, glorious boost to your AmpCoil experience. But we'll go into all the details, how it works, how you get it, all the news, all the buzz that is, all the news that is fresh to print. And for now, we're going to pause. We're going to change gears. I'm going to stop share. I have two things to say about our PEMF mat, and that a lot of this information, right, it's available on this call. I promise we'll do a full walkthrough of everything that's involved with the technology, all the ins and outs, but we'd love you to stick around, and we appreciate your time. And why we're really here is we're to talk about what is our lived experience with AmpCoil. And I get to hear these stories all the time. People tell me how their life has changed, whatever it is. Freddie, I'm walking with less pain. I'm able to go back to school. You'll hear some cool ones today. I'm walking up the stairs without using my oxygen supplementation. Really neat stuff from this device that simply works. The reality is we're going to hear some cool stories, but the device works just like when I turn on my faucet, I got hot water. When we turn on the AmpCoil, you get electromagnetic waves which travel through the body. They are not slowed down for tissue or bone, and they excite electrons in the cell. And as a result of that, you have more potential energy. I interviewed I would send two places if someone had late stage chronic illness or late stage even pancreatic cancer. There's two places in the US. I interviewed the doctor today that does all those hard cases. One of their tenets of healing is electrons. He goes, you have to add electrons to the body as part of a maintenance, whether you're treating late stage metastatic cancer, whether you're working with allergies, whether you're working with Lyme disease. It's not about treating the disease. It's about amplifying the energetics in the terrain, because the body's a self-healing mechanism. So how do you pull all those things online? And I loved him say multiple times, Freddie, we have the AmpCoil. We use it in our clinic all the time. Freddie, we teach people how to breathe. Freddie, we teach people to walk barefoot outside. We teach people to mineralize their tissue. We teach people to work the lymph, and we teach how to better navigate your emotional interrelating with the outside world. And those are the tenets. Doesn't matter if it's allergy, diminishing the frequency of your allergies, or you're going there for pancreatic cancer. Those are non-starters. So if you're not willing to do those things, I thought it was fascinating that there's not a lot they can do. Those are and I was like, what a cool technology to be mentioned in that realm of safe, effective. It does what it says it does. Without any further ado, Magnolia, I think we should bring up our first transformational story.
I love that. We are going to invite Jordan to come and join us. Jordan, I'm going to promote you to a panelist. So if you can just say yes.
Just say yes, panelists. Just say yes.
Hey guys.
Jordan, how you doing?
I'm doing really, really well. Thank you for asking.
Awesome. It's good to see you. You look very, very healthy.
Thank you. I appreciate it. That's a great compliment. It's
Yeah.
awesome.
Yeah. Jordan, why don't you drop us in with you might have an AmpCoil win to talk about.
Yeah, absolutely. So I actually got my AmpCoil after I had overcome chronic Lyme disease naturally. But my AmpCoil has been a staple in my life ever since. So I use my AmpCoil, let's just say 5 times a week. Maybe it's 7, but I use it for very, very simple programs. I use the Relaxol. I use deep sleep. I use a positivity program and I feel it immediately. Even this past week, I had some really high stressors going on. I hopped on the Relax All program, did a meditation, I felt immediately better. I think that it does incredible wonders, and I've never felt healthier since I've used it. I'm pretty crazy into the world of health, just like you are, Freddie. And you know, I get up at 3:30ish a.m., get in my cold plunge. I have my infrared sauna at home. I have my AmpCoil. Super into all the energetics, and I'm a firm believer in AmpCoil since I got it. And I don't know how I heard about it, but the product that I was using previously to AmpCoil was Rife. I had a True Rife machine, and super complicated. I had a practitioner. I'm grateful that I had her. She was out in Michigan. I'd see her once a month. She'd program my machine with a generator, essentially. Like they test my body and then reprogram my Rife machine. And I'm grateful for that experience. I think that it got me to where I wanted to be. And then I had to learn a lot more. I had to learn about nutrition, supplementation, mindset. I think mindset, like a lot of the stuff you can do with the AmpCoil, you can potentially do with the power of your mind as well. So I like to combine the two with meditation and frequency healing. But yeah, I swear by it, and happy to answer any questions about my AmpCoil journey.
Yeah, beautiful, beautiful. I will reflect to you. I mean, just seeing your journey online. I mean, if again, Jordan, I would tell people to go and just check out Jordan's Instagram page, because sometimes you'll post a picture in your deep dark night of the soul, and you could see the inflammation in your body and how much your body's changed, and your skin color and your eyes and the light and the color in your skin. It's really incredible. So bravo.
Absolutely. Yeah, I was deep in it. Like in 2016, I snapped my, well, I didn't snap. I cracked a lot of my vertebrae. I dove off of a dock into a lake, and I hit the bottom, rolled my chin forward, had 20 staples in my skull. You know, tore my rectus capitis off my skull, and I was told I needed rods in my spine. And then in 2017, I was diagnosed with chronic Lyme disease. I went from 200 pounds to like 130 pounds in a year. I wore a neck collar for 4 years. And I went into this extremely depressive cycle of being sick, angry at the world, and not letting anybody help me. And I saw, unfortunately, I'm grateful, but unfortunately, I saw all the best doctors in the world, and none of them could help me because I couldn't help myself. And I think what the AmpCoil is really great for is, like you said, the body is a natural healing organism. If you think that you can't heal, I'm sorry to say this, you won't heal. You have to firmly believe in it. And if you believe in it, you're using AmpCoil. You wouldn't be using AmpCoil if you didn't believe you could heal. So my story comes back to a bunch of things, but I wish that nobody has to go through my journey. I know a lot of people do, but I would have started with AmpCoil if I had known in 2016.
Yeah. I will mirror that. Very much similar, same experience. You know, so much happened, but I had a huge turning point when I started to use the coil. And somebody asked me this today, you know, if you had, what else would you buy right now? There's nothing else I would buy. You know, truly, like what my experience has been is the AmpCoil is going to accelerate or amplify the deep work that you've already done. So the power of breath, the power of language. And then I've got this insurance policy that I know from a physics standpoint that when I'm coiling, I am spinning those electrons. So it's generating this internal combustion. And my cells, because they now have direction, and I've cleared away a lot of the story, right? The story, the looping thoughts. I got down to the facts and what my body was capable of. It's been a trajectory like this, which people had always said, well, healing's, you know, loop-de-loo. And that, for me, for quite a few years, it's been this really nice climb. So I don't know if that resonates with you at all.
Absolutely. Yeah. And I was an athlete before I got injured and sick, and I never really took care of my nutrition, but I thought that was the strongest I'd ever be. And now, you know, I went down to 130 pounds and back to like 200 pounds. I'm squatting close to 500 pounds, bench pressing close to 300. You know, I'm the strongest I've ever been as a human. I'm outside of like my athletic prime, but I feel like I'm in the best shape of my life. I'm the healthiest of my life. I'm the best I've ever been up here. And I want to keep it that way. So I'm into everything. And that comes to AmpCoil too.
Amazing. Amazing. Jordan, what advice do you have? I would love to hear some of the times of day in which you incorporate the coil, when you lean into that, what times are right for you.
Sure. Yeah. My main time is like pretty serious with my routine. So my phone goes away at around 7 p.m. every night, and I start reading, and I'm asleep probably just after 8. So between 7 and 8, I'm using my AmpCoil while I'm reading. And then if I'm ever during a midday meeting and I have that like lethargic feeling, or just I need that extra, pick me up, I'll just throw my AmpCoil on a Zoom meeting. Nobody knows, and I'm AmpCoiling during a meeting. And in those times, I'll actually use like one of the brain boots, or I'm blanking on the name, but
Brain
I'll use a
reboot.
different program. Yeah.
Amazing. And are you the only person in your household who coils?
I am not. No, my wife Lauren does, but she's currently pregnant and she's due any day now. But she loves it too. She's a really big believer in the deep sleep program. I think it's helped us both tremendously. And she's dove into the entire like AmpCoil journey. So we have like the pamphlet, and she's done it actually deeper than I have. So yeah, she's into it. And the dogs love it. They always aggregate to us or come to us when we're doing the coil.
Yeah, they do. They definitely like lean into that frequency. Pets have no placebo, and it's always amazing. There's so many testimonials online about pets and pulse magnetics. We have a doctor who has a bunch of coils online, and while she was pregnant, she coiled her water. So she was
Oh,
coiling positivity or nutrition, because water does have a memory, and
yeah.
she had a great experience. And they have
I
a
never heard
very,
that. I
very
love that
healthy.
though.
Yeah, water has a memory. Water
Yeah.
carries information, as
Yeah.
Dr. Gerald Pollack has done some of his work around. So, Jordan,
Mhm.
let me do this, because you have such a motivational story and you're in the AmpCoil universe. As we go on to our next guest, I'm going to give you a little magic wand. You can reach all the people on the webinar and across the world. What piece of motivational information would you give to people if you could just reach everybody for like a minute?
I would just say have faith in something that hasn't happened yet. Anything can happen. And as you were saying, through quantum physics, through physics, if you can see it, it can become reality. So why not see something that is exactly what you want? And I think that's all I would say.
Yeah. What I'm hearing you say is clarity of vision, and take the
Yeah.
time out of your day to establish a vision.
Yeah. Absolutely. You need a definite purpose. So
Yeah.
that's something that I struggled with when I was sick, was the identity of being a sick person. And to come out of that and have a definite purpose that was outside of the realm of illness, that's what drove me. That's what kept me going. I was just on a call previously to this, is that when I started seeing Lauren, my now wife, was pregnant with our first child, I had a vision when I started dating her early that I was throwing a ball with our child. And I was so sick that I was in a neck collar. I couldn't, my body was basically destroyed, but that's what made me get better, was that vision that I needed to do this. So I think it's the yet to do's. If you've read I forget the book's called, but a lot of men die within 3 years of retirement because there's nothing yet left to do. But if you have something that you're yet to do, or you have left to do, there will always be a motivation to go towards it and achieve it.
Yeah. That is incredible. My medical Sherpa, my naturopathic nurse practitioner, actually, he ends every email with, "If you don't know where you're going, any road will do." And
Yeah.
I read that one day and I was like, is he writing this to me? No, it's every email. But I
Yeah.
really like sat with that. I was like, wow, that is powerful, because there's a lot of times the plate can be so full that we never really take that time to really hone in on the direction and ask yourself, you're like, am I in agreement with this direction? So
Yeah.
yeah, beautiful, beautiful. What are the yet to do's? Jordan, I hope everybody can follow you. We said your tags on social media, it's at Jordan Dunnan and at Hatch Patch Coach, both of those on
Yeah,
Instagram.
and if I could do a quick plug about Hashpath, is that's
Please plug away. Yeah.
that's my that's like my purpose. So when I say have a definite purpose, that was my purpose. So I created this platform so that people could connect with vetted health coaches, and we're at over 250 coaches now, from everything from spirituality to mental health to nutrition. and everything in between. I personally have a coach. I believe in the value of a coach. I was just on the call with an Instagram coach of all things, but I have a general coach for my life, and we vet all of our coaches. So they go through an application process, and we want just to help as many people as possible. So that's my definite purpose. That's what I built, and I hope everybody else can find their definite purpose too.
Yeah, there's the I'm drawing a blank on this woman's name, but there is a woman in Canada who is also, she's trying to democratize coaching. So because she's always seen, I think she started Blow Dry Bar, and she's like, the biggest change in my life was having a coach, financial, relationship, business, health coach. It's like, go utilize those expert hours that have been materialized into something you can digest. Yeah, beautiful.
Absolutely. Yes.
Beautiful.
Skip the learning how, skip the unnecessary mistakes, and get right to the results. Cool. Thank you for your time. I really appreciate it.
Yeah. Thank you, Jordan.
All
All
right.
right. All
Yay.
right. So we're going to, Magnolia, you're going to do your magic.
I am going to do my magic. Thanks, Jordan, for being here. And I also saw that your lovely wife is on here as well. So I just want to give a shout out to the soon to be mother out there. That's great.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
I'll read some comments here. Cheryl said, Cheryl, you did not miss the talk about the mat. We're going to talk about the AmpCoil mat at the end. It works on dogs. A PEMF is known to be really good for all living things, all things with the cellular processes. AmpCoil is designed for humans, of course. So we always say that in a disclaimer fashion, designed for humans. But if your pets crawl up on your lap, we are not in your living room to stop you.
And
Someone said,
oops, sorry.
yeah.
I was just letting Carrie know. I was just letting her know that I was promoting her. So
Great. Come on up, Carrie.
Yes.
We had someone say that could be the book, Dare to Discover Your Purpose, Retire, Refire, Rewire by George Jerkin. That could be. That's very possible. I interviewed an 83-year-old human being this week in Boston who is like started 2 medical centers, and he's like, here's what I'm doing next. I mean, this guy is like energy of a 20-year-old. It's amazing. Sweet. And so we matched that with Carrie Usselman because she has the energy and creativity of a 20-year-old. Carrie, how you doing?
You're so sweet. I'm great. Thank you. I always feel so inspired just listening and feeling the energy come through the screen on these calls. It's awesome.
Yeah, it's really good. It's really good. Well, you're an AmpCoil veteran for people who don't know. And what brings you to this call today, and what do you want to share? What's your AmpCoil transformational story?
I was asked to share a story, and I thought, I'm going to start with myself. That's a good place to start. I included in my practice, but really the AmpCoil, I feel like the AmpCoil was the key piece in bringing all of me back online. I was diagnosed with Lyme in 2013 after my regular allopathic doctor told me nothing was wrong with me. And I love being outside. I love hiking and biking and anything nature. And I couldn't even walk a half a block. Mm-hmm. And I couldn't, like, the sun was so bright, any sound. And so I went outside of the mainstream. I'm like, I need to figure this piece out. And I started working with an amazing medical doctor. And it was through a conference with a different technology that I use in my practice that I learned about the AmpCoil. Probably, I'm thinking it was 2015 when it was just coming out. And one of my colleagues purchased one, and I started using that at her house. She lives locally. And then I got one, and a few months in, I thought, wow, I don't have to like squint my eyes, and I have more energy, and I feel like I don't have to close down my practice. I was down to 1 client a day. I had enough oomph for 1 client, and that was it. And so I'm so grateful. I use the AmpCoil every day. I weave it in with some of the other things, the other modalities I offer. I can say several years ago, I had a client with ALS, and I know that the AmpCoil really gifted an extended longevity so he could have more time with his little girls, and an enhanced quality of life. The very first time I worked with him, maybe it was the second time, I ran airways, and he took such a big breath of air. It was awing, truly awing, and it just instilled so much joy and hope and promise, and that's what it really did for him. I have seen some of my clients so debilitated, like adults down to 80, 90 pounds. But like, I just saw one of my clients this week and I'm like, you look amazing. She was back to a normal weight, a healthy weight. Her skin was great. Her eyes were sparkling light. That was so beautiful to see. And then somebody I recently started working with who now has an AmpCoil, she's had no feeling in her feet for over 10 years. So she's been coiling for about a month and she can feel her feet again. So that's amazing.
Amazing.
Yeah.
Yeah, incredible. And do you, in your current incarnation or your business, are you currently working with people and doing some AmpCoil once in a while now?
Yeah, yes, I weave the AmpCoil in with my clients and I continue to do the AmpCoil myself. And as Jordan was saying, like if I get that little slump in the middle of the day, I try to schedule enough time, I don't always have now this is the word, I don't know how you phrase it, but my sessions extend, and if I find that I have a pocket and I'm tired, which sometimes I do get a lull in the afternoon, good, nice B vitamin, like a little hit of that is good. But if I run that brain reboot, and I feel like I've taken an hour nap. It's amazing. So that's a go-to. And some of my favorites are the Relaxol, Positivity. Those are really beautiful with my clients. The Relaxol, I find people just tend to sleep better if they have a lot of anxiety. They come down into their bodies. Talking about a lot of these other things that you mentioned at the beginning of the call, like just being mindful, but that's a way they can do it by just sitting or lying down. They're like, oh, that feels so much better.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know if anybody else knows this, but if we look at the, some of the trends that exist in our healthcare system, America's number 46. Number 45 is Cuba as far as quality of life in healthcare. So we're actually falling drastically behind, and there's some really wild things. It's like, we looked at all the different variables in health, and one thing that is amplified in America is our stress. So in 1910, the standard American took 6 to 7 breaths a minute. Do you know how many times we breathe in America today? 16 to 20 breaths, very shallow. We do not utilize, right? We do not utilize this body. So for me, I know what happens when I play Relaxol. I know what happens when I play even pain release for me, or probably one of my go-tos is Detox Assist.
Yes.
Always has a different immediate effect on how I experience pain. And the other thing that we look at is the number of environmental toxicants that we experience today. It's just different, right? So where's your liver love? I don't know. It's like, I take for granted that I have a machine in my little side biohacking room that I can support liver with. The frequency of liver, it's really, really special. So I look at it like my little Swiss Army knife. Yeah.
Nice. The liver is so important just in balancing all your hormones too. It's critical. Just
Everything.
getting, the organs back online and able to eliminate. And I also want to share, like, before I even knew about the AmpCoil, just like Jordan was mentioning, and I'm not like dissing anything, but I was so excited to try a straight up somebody had a Rife machine, and
Yeah.
I did 10 sessions, and I'm like, oh, I think this is helping me. And then I got slammed. And what I so appreciate about the AmpCoil is the cascading frequencies that support holistically everything that the body needs to move through the journey that you're running, or the deep cleanse. I have done the first and last part of the deep cleanse, and that alone has been tremendous support for patients in pain, or clients in pain that I work with. But that the mindfulness around the cascading frequencies that help usher in the body's ability to truly start healing from the inside out through its, its self-healing. And some of the other things that you've been saying, and Jordan too, I mean, it really is about believing also our attitudes. If you're going to block something, you're going to block something. But when we allow and step into, that's when things can start to change. When we what's the word I'm looking for? Commit to our journey. Commit to our journey. Yeah.
Yeah. That is a beautiful way to frame it, Carrie. A couple things when you were just speaking came up for me. Is just the reflection of the importance of those cascading frequencies. And listen, I'm not a molecular biologist. I have a lived experience in some things in the world of chronic illness and cancer, and quite a good amount of time in the world of frequency therapies. But I can tell you that deliberately, Geneva and our team and our software team, we work on those sound curves. We work on how the frequencies roll from one to the next and meet the body. And it is hours and hundreds of hours of deliberate adjusting and tweaking and tuning. And that happens all the time in the background. And I'm glad you all can be the benefit of that. And I will just say, from a lived experience, it's tireless work, because the world changes, right? What we experience changes. So that's why we're doing things like developing this mat, we're going to learn about the different alloys we use in the mat, like some of the earth elements like copper, which is so hyperconductive and so grounding, adding additional coils to the system, all those things based on what the world's going through. So it's when you get to know like the team and the heart of the team, it's a wonderful group of human beings who are committed to easing suffering in the world. Yeah. So Carrie, and Carrie has been with the AmpCoil team, from very, very early on, and in the AmpCoil family. So we really appreciate you, and we appreciate you sharing and continuing to work with us and being on this journey. Yeah.
I'm grateful for this beautiful team and the growing community, the growing AmpCoil community. That's just branching out and creating that shift that people are seeking. So thank you so much for your time, and
thank you, Carrie.
To everybody.
Blessings to you.
Thanks.
Blessings to you. All right. And
it looks like, Carrie, that there's a question for you in the chat,
Oh.
and that asked, what journey did the lady use to get feeling in her feet? This is Peter. His wife suffers with neuropathy.
Oh, we started with Relax All. We did several of those, and I don't have my tablet right now, but I went in and I also doused. So I doused some of the journeys to see which ones were resonating with her for her feet. But I know the word nerve or autonomic nervous system was in there. So I could take a look-see.
It's probably, one of our general detox journeys. I'm sure somebody, somebody, I know, I have my tablet right here. I'll flip it open. But I know there are some pros. I know that Marjorie Viega's on the call right now. I already know it's going to pop up in the chat. So we'll put that in there.
Thank
you.
you.
Then Carrie, You put some beautiful stuff on social media too. So if you want, where can people just tag along and catch your vibe?
I'm more in, I'm old school. I'm more in Facebook than I'm Instagram, but I know I kind of linked my accounts so they go across.
Yeah.
Yeah, so it's just my name right now, Carrie Uselman, Kari, and then Uselman.
Great.
Yeah,
We'll
so
put that in the
I'm
chat.
into food. I'm into vibrant food and art and
Yeah.
flowers. So you can see some of that.
Beautiful. Thank you, Carrie.
Yeah, you're welcome.
All right. So Magnolia, you're going to do your magic again. And we could bring up Kathy Wheelahan. Oh, and we're getting some answers here. We got spine, nerves, connectivity, and general detox 3. Yep, brain, nerves, and spine. Yep, I turned it. Everybody heard my tablet. Ba-da-ba-ba-bum-bum-bum-bum. If you don't know that song by now, you're not coiling enough. All right, let's see here. I'm gonna kick my tablet as we bring up our next.
Before we do, if we bring up Kathy, I'm gonna bring up Heather.
Let's bring up Heather.
Heather is someone that Kathy has been working with. She has an amazing story. Heather, I'm going to promote you to a panelist. You'll get a little invitation. Just say yes.
And then special question, how long do nerves take to regenerate? How quickly does the nervous system? That's a special extra bonus question that you can put in the chat if anybody knows the answer to that. How long does it take 1 inch of your nerves to regenerate? Even better question.
With or without the AmpCoil?
Without, just naturally. Heather, can you hear us? Heather, we see you on, you just got to do unmute. Do that unmute button.
Activate that camera.
Yeah, the camera and the mute. Hopefully it goes. I think Heather said she had a little storm in her area. Oh, nailed it.
All right. No, it's age is what I've got in the area. Hi.
Heather, how you doing?
I'm doing really great, thank you. And I've just learned an awful lot listening to the people that have already talked, Freddie.
Yeah.
I was introduced to the AmpCoil. I have COPD.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, you need my video? Okay.
Oh, you can. Yeah, that'd be great. Well, we love to see pretty. Oh, look at you're beautiful.
Thank you.
I love your hair.
Thank you. I have COPD and I've had it for a while. And I think the thing that stuck out the most, I have been coiling for probably, I've had maybe 18 sessions. And 9 of them have been with what you're going to be talking about later, along with the coil. So I'll start out by saying the medical community says that COPD is irreversible. And I'm going to say, I think that's hogwash, because I have noticed a difference with my COPD since I've been coiling. And even more so doing the total experience with the mat and the coil. The first time I went and I coiled, I take my oxygen with me, my portable, everywhere. And I shared with somebody that when I got home, I live on the lower level of my daughter's house, and I went upstairs and I never even hooked up my oxygen. So I went up a major flight of stairs and went, oh my God, what's going on here? So it's just been a progression ever since. I felt in the beginning, it was almost like my airways and my bronchial tubes were cleaning up, and I could breathe a lot easier. I felt more alive, more with it. I was using my oxygen less and less. I would carry it around with me in case I needed it, but I wasn't using it. So I'd rather carry my handbag full of money than I would using that portable oxygen. So the other thing is once I did it with the mat, that was a whole new experience. So I can tell you the sensations I've gotten and the results I got just makes me want to go more and more and more. I'm 77 years old. I'm an active person, but my COPD was making me not so active. So I was doing yoga, and that was about it. And that's totally switched around. I shared that when I first did the mat with the coil, it felt like little Pac-Men were running through my body, going chum, 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 just cleaning up all the garbage. And I've had that sensation ever since.
Mm.
I have felt more energy. I have felt, this is a big one, I don't have brain fog anymore. So that was really good for me.
Mm.
My endurance without oxygen is absolutely fantastic. I joined an oxygen rehab through the hospital at the same time I started the coil, and it's an 8-week session. And you're basically, it really doesn't do anything for your oxygen other than they put you to strengthen your muscles. So it was like being at the gym and learning how to breathe in and blow out. And I noticed that I was in the jogging, I was doing 3 miles in a half hour. And I'm going, holy crap, you know, I've never even witnessed doing that. And there's a lady at the counselor there said, you know, Heather, I think I'm going to have to graduate you now instead of another 4 weeks after this. So I'm getting the verification right back at me. I feel it. I see it. Other people are noticing it. So this is just the beginning of my journey. But I got to tell you, the combination of the mat and the coil together is just going to rock everybody's world. Let me tell you.
Yeah. Very, yeah, beyond inspired. That's amazing. Well, there's, I want to just let everybody know there's tons and tons of scientific literature to support PEMF for vasodilation and also nitric oxide release, you know, and what's really happening on the little Pac-Man, what's happening is your cells are able to carry more oxygen immediately. So I hope that we can expedite the day in which everybody in your clinic, your oxygen gym, can get access to things like AmpCoils.
Yeah, it'd be great.
Yeah.
Help a lot
So,
of people. Yeah,
helping
thank
a
you.
lot of people. Well, we really, we really appreciate you taking the time to be here with us. And I want to say thank you for being so bold and courageous for trying the AmpCoil, which I don't know if you could, maybe you can go back, Heather. Was there trepidation? Did you have an inhibition about going and doing this thing? Like they're going to put a coil on me and a thing, and they're going to do a what with an electromagnetic field? Or were you into it?
Well, you know, I went and I didn't fully understand it, so I let it just do its thing. So that I'm a person. I'm sure a lot of people in my family may have said, you're doing what, you know, is this a cult or anything like that? And I don't even get into that. I just want to be showing the testimonial of what it's doing for me. So,
Yeah.
and I wouldn't have it any other way now. I look forward to every session.
Yeah. Beautiful. Well, you're glowing. Well, we really appreciate you being with us, and we celebrate your story. I can't wait for the next update.
Okay. Next call.
Okay. It's a date.
Thank you.
Heather, thank you so much.
Thank you.
All right. I'm just checking my time here. I got 5:16. I want to be sure to get to everybody. Yes. Oh, Curtis says, congrats, Heather. Happy for you. And you're achieving relief with your COPD, coil, and mat to your great health. Yeah, so funny. I just posted a little quote from one of the studies I have in my files here on PEMF and nitric oxide release and all the other good things we can do in conjunction with AmpCoil. It's really fascinating just how well it complements. If you really want to get into this biological bioregulatory medicine, which looks at the whole system and the terrain, everybody talks about using electrons to heal, and nowhere have I ever heard anyone say that's not part of the equation. It's always going to be part of the equation. So this is a great time, great community to be involved with. Martha, how does the mat fit with the really old, she capitalized old AmpCoil, or does it only work with the newest AmpCoil machines? We'll talk about mat incorporations after our next 2 people, Martha, but we'll get there. Spoiler alert, it will be able to work with all of them. Optimized for the 3.0. We'll get to all those details. So Magnolia must be on pulling up our next guest.
You know, I am. And also one of them had to hop off because she's having a storm at her place.
Mm,
Her internet
let's bring up Kathy Wheelahan.
working. So we are going to invite the wonderful Miss Kathy Wheelahan to join.
And then we'll probably pivot. We're going to talk about, because I want to be respectful of everybody's time, and we'll do a little Matt talk, and then maybe we can swing around and get her. Does that sound good?
I love that story.
I love that story.
Can you hear me?
Kathy.
Look at that pool. How much do I miss that diving board? One of my favorite places in the world.
And the beautiful garden. I love how Kathy told me a story about how one time she was coiling someone and she loves her green thumb. Kathy has an amazing garden. And the gentleman that she was coiling was like, you think all these amazing plants have anything to do with this AmpCoil? And a lightning bolt shot off and Kathy, and she was like, I mean, I thought it was my green thumb, but probably the AmpCoil has something to do with it too.
Yeah.
No doubt.
Amazing. Well, Miss Wheelahan, you are obviously, for anybody that doesn't know Kathy is, she's on a little bit of the leadership team of AmpCoil. Her beautiful partner and husband, Scott Wheelahan, is our acting CEO and chief people person. And she's run our AmpCoil studies in Reading, Connecticut, and our pilot studies. So Kathy, obviously you have a great testimonial, which you've told us before, but what do you want to talk about on this call today?
Well, I just thought maybe I would tee up my experience with the mat so that you can then segue into it if you want to.
That sounds great. Let's do that.
Okay.
I'm going to let you rock it.
Okay. Having the AmpCoil for all of these years has been transformative. Absolutely. I was just telling actually Heather, who was just speaking about her experience, that I didn't realize how unhealthy I was until I started using the AmpCoil and feeling so good and increasingly better. And now it's just part of my everyday life. And the mat, which Freddie is going to speak in more detail about, is the next game changer to me. I'm seeing it in my own life in a major way with, funny enough, like little pickleball injuries, pulling my calf muscle, hurting my shoulder. And the mat seems to amplify the experience when done with the coil. And then also having people like Heather and many other people come to the Healing Center Open Sky and have transformative experiences, like in the moment. Not even, most people, it's like, they leave and they come back and then they say, oh, the next day or that night. And I'm having people say, right now, this is what's happening in my body. I am feeling energy moving. So it's a very felt experience. And I am so excited to see the long-term effects of having this amplification and this ground with the coil, because I'm already seeing it in myself and I'm already seeing it in my clients. So it's like super exciting, super exciting.
Yeah, it is to me too. I'm going to do a play change. We're going to keep Kathy up and I'm just going to hit this button here. Look at that lush greenery. We're going to bring up this QuickTime player. Wait, I got to do this first. I got to go share and I got to go share sound, optimize for video clip. Oh, but this one's really cool too. I mean, look at this. This is from my little control experiment. This is like really wild that this happens with these plants. So I have a control plant and then I have an AmpCoil plant. And the minute you AmpCoil the plant, and this is like these were kind of not being treated. They were just getting regular water. And then the plant on the left, it was just 2 coiling sessions. Look at the vertical growth that you see it's just like boom. And what I like to remind people is plants are very similar to human beings. We both take in sunlight, we make energy, we have a circulatory system that functions a little bit differently, but we are synthesizing sunlight for energy. And both these biological tissues, the skin and plant matter, when you spin electrons, you get them, they just grow faster. So this is a great, really easy, this was like, again, this was like a 3-day, it was like zap, 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 zap. And I love that how simple you can see something physically represented in an image like that. And the other one I have, I'm just going to pull up really, really quickly, is the guy who is, builds both the property that I live on, is a master builder. He built Deepak Chopra's house. He's 72, works every single day. He AmpCoils all the time. I've got an AmpCoil over in his house, but he just started an AmpCoil with a mat. And so he likes the coil, and then he's been AmpCoiling with the mat, and he's been coming into the house. I used to have to be like, Michael, you got a coil. You're up at 5 a.m, you're working all day. And he's been drawn into the experience because of how he feels. So this is his very candid explanation of this. Stop share. Let me do share, optimize video sound clip. Just got to check this, or you won't hear the sound. We're going to play this.
Hey, I'm Michael, Austin, Texas, friend of Freddie, and I'm an AmpCoil user for the first time using the AmpCoil mat. And I have to say that different from the donut, the mat my body responded much more rapidly, and it much more soothing and effective than the donut. So thank you, Freddie.
Thank you for watching. That's all we got. Great. And Michael, here, I got to stop this video from playing. That is our new AmpCoil video intro, which I am a fan of. Michael is not, he doesn't know biohacking or technology. He just comes in and I'm like, you got to do this. You got to get on it. And he always feels, yesterday he's like, my wrist is killing me. My lower back is killing me. And he's like, I want to do it again. He's like, can I run too? He's like, my back feels better. I was like, you can, whatever you want to do. So it's really fun to get to experiment and see this with people. The other victory I have before we go over and we talk about the mat is that I've been doing, I've been working with a gentleman who's had his third reoccurrence of what was he? He is a rare form of blood cancer. And he's all done with his chemo. He's all done, but he was in the hospital for 60 days. So he had all these terrible bed sores, and he had an infection in his foot, infection in his hand. And we've just parked a coil at his house, and his foot is almost normal size. His bed sore, which was over 4 inches wide, has started to heal. Really, really, really cool. And he's just, he can see the value in it, and he kind of feel it. And I'm not telling him what to play. I gave Melissa 6 things. I'm like, here's how many times you're going to do it. Here's how many times is your top limit. Keep push and play. I left it set up next to his bed. It's plugged into the wall. He doesn't have to do anything. And this guy, again, he's like 66 years old, and he's not calling me with questions. He's just doing it. And so I would just say, and his attitude is awesome. So it's really, really neat to be able to see that. And I'm really lucky to be able to have a coil to donate to him, because he's in need. 2 little kids, doesn't have a lot of money. So it's really special. And we're prepping him for his stem cell transplant, which is going to happen in 2 weeks, which then we'll go back to not doing any other therapies. We're going to let his medical team manage. So in between, for recovery, this is where you can get it in and fit it in. Somebody said, what did I run for the plans? I think I ran demo harmonizer and circulation. Nutrition. I just play, I just play around intuitively. Awesome. So Kathy, thank you for your testimony, and thank you. You have such an experience with AmpCoil. And so that, the difference. I'm a huge fan of the mat.
Well, and if anybody's in the tri-state area and you want to come and try the mat, come to Connecticut.
Right.
Absolutely. Or send people, because we're here, and I would love to I love putting people on.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, same. Austin, if you want to roll into Austin, Texas, I'll put you on the mat. Yep. So
I love the guy with the donut. It's better than the donut.
I know. I love the words people come up with for them. It's
So
great.
cute. Okay, thanks, Freddie, for all you
Yep.
do.
Yep. Thank you. Okay. So I'm going to pull up, where are my fancy slides here? We'll talk about the mat a little bit, and then hopefully we get our last transformational story on. Forgive us for running over, but that's, we're here to listen to the people. We're here to listen to the winds, which is the most important thing. I put the plant right on the coils. Where in Connecticut, Kathy? She is in Reading, Connecticut. Reading, Connecticut. Really close to Danbury. All right. Screen share. Boom. Screen share. Bam. So, ladies and gentlemen, wait, let me go back here to, let me do, great, present and present. So as I was saying before, we have a deeply charismatic, empathetic, humble AmpCoil team who is always listening to how we can do better. We've been looking at the prevalence of chronic disease in America and looking at the stress rates. I just mentioned we've tripled the times we breathe. These shallow little breaths that just ain't doing it. So the human psyche is more strained than it's ever been. So what do? We lean into things that can adjust the nervous system. AmpCoil is a great device, and we have been in development of a new product. So launching in 2023, I think these mats will be going out in the fall of 2023. We are sitting here with the lovely Miss Laura Young, who is our model. She is right in front of our beautiful, you can see this almost full body mat here, which is going to plug into the coil, and it is going to amplify your experience. AmpCoil's mat delivery system. This is what our working title is. So we have 6. Yeah.
There's like a gray screen on top of your beautiful slideshow. Maybe it's another screen that you're trying not to share. It's
Not
it's
that I'm
kind of
aware of.
yeah, but just shifted a little bit. I just want everyone to be able to see your amazing. Yep, that's part of it that you're clicking on now. And
Yeah,
there's
it's
a
the
little bit-
window. I just see the window of speakers. Let me just stop share. Let me try to reshare.
Yeah,
Let
thank
me
you. I just
go.
want everyone to be able
Yeah.
to see.
Yeah. Let me close some windows. Sometimes here we got to optimize. Close windows. Okay, there it is. There's only 2 screens up. All right. We'll try it again. Let's try this. And we'll go to Miss Laura Young. We'll go screen share. Here. Share. Present. How are we doing now?
I mean, it's still there, but it's we can work around it.
Can you see it?
We can see it. Yeah, just part of it's kind of cut off.
Huh. That's so weird. I don't know what to tell you. What about now if I take away the talker window?
It's better.
Okay. Great. All right. Well, launching 2023 as our mat, we're going to talk about our AmpCoil delivery system, and we will send this. Luckily, we have a beautiful video recording from our ambassador call, which I'm sure we can grab a clip from, Magnolia, that is, we really do a deep dive on this mat. So the AmpCoil mat delivery system has 6 copper coils. The system, and it's a twice the magnetic strength. I will break that down later. Full body coverage. We are able to do a dual delivery system, i.e. we can use the mat and the coil at the same time. This mat is right now, it's optimized for the 3.0, but we are going to be able to use this with all systems. We're developing compatibility for all models. And I think right now it also does work with the 2.0. We're going to have it with all of them. As I said, we think about this as like amplified entrainment, meaning that if you're getting information from a single coil, we are now going to have the frequency, as Carrie said so beautifully, we have this cascade of sounds and frequencies meeting the body where it's at. We're going to give the body a little more information so it can be pulled into that state of entrainment. If you've never heard us say that before, AmpCoil works through the repetition of a frequency or a repetition of information broadcast of the human bioenergetic field. We're waiting for the body to pick up the frequency or wipe away the disruption, disruption being a microbe, metal, or toxin, and bring more coherence. So one thing that the team had done is said, well, we really need this copper grounding. Copper is so grounding. Just holding or standing on a copper plate can be transformative. So copper is very malleable. It's very flexible and resilient. In fact, the wire that will plug into the adapter box, it's one wire. So it starts at the beginning, goes all the way, it wounds through coil number 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and it's continuous. And the wire, it's really hard to break it or bend it. It's corrosion resistant. It's very good at conducting warmth and electricity, and very, very grounding to that root chakra, which is where we're trying to get to, is ground everybody down, back into self, back into the body, out of the head, out of the story, as Miss Wheelahan and Laura Young like to say. So the AmpCoil PEMF mat with the AmpCoil, right? We're marrying these two systems with this converter box here. So you're going to see one side is where you're going to plug in the coil. Not pictured is the mat plug in over here. So this box will plug right into the faceplate of your amplifier. So the mat is equal magnetic strength to the coil. However, it's distributed over the 6 coils. So the magnetic Gauss, or the energy from the one coil that we already had, is doubled through the 6 coils. So we got 1 and 1 equals 2. So the adapter allows for both the coil and the mat to be utilized as a delivery system for an all-around more powerful, more robust magnetic experience. This is really the part you want to be clear on. So in combination with the coil, you get double the magnetic strength, adding the mat to your coil system. And we did this slide. We had our PEMF mat experience panel. So I'm going to volunteer that this will be cut from the video that we did last week, because we had people speak like Kathy. Magnolia was at the biohacking conference. We had put a couple hundred people on the system so far, and really we noticed expedited results, a more felt experience, more profound transformation in less time. Yeah, we had people stand up and say, wow, that was transcendent. Some really, really cool testimonials that we will have videos processed for you. The mat's value, the mat is $13,000, $1,295. So just under $1,300. $1,295 is the market value of the mat. So when you consider a system like the IMRS or the Beamer, that those systems are anywhere from $3,000, $4,000, $5,000, $7,000. This is a great value add. It's like, man, it's everything you ever asked for. It's happy for the mat people that always wanted a PMF mat, but you can also have the coil, and you have all the frequency programs. Susan, I promise I'll get to your question. This is our chart. So what's important to understand, it's like, how do I get a mat? The AmpCoil mat early bird summer special. This is something we launched to our ambassadors last week. Now it's going out to the net full community. So what I want to do first, and Magnolia is my checks and balances here to make sure I get everything right. I want to go over the ways in which in July and August, you could get a free mat. Now you'll notice some of these categories are for an AmpCoil ambassador. Maybe you're an ambassador or not. Maybe you want to become one. Maybe this gives you the kick in the pants to go ahead and sign up to be an AmpCoil ambassador. So the free options to get an AmpCoil mat are to buy a brand new 3.0 in July. Now, I want everybody to look at the calendar because it's July 27th. So July is dwindling down. And so right now, if you buy an AmpCoil 3.0 for the normal price of $7,995, you get your $1,300 mat included in your price. That's a great, great deal. The other way to get a free AmpCoil was, I'm going to do a was, and then I'm going to flip it for you, to do a trade-in. And in July, if you traded in an AmpCoil 2.0, the original AmpCoil, some AmpCoil that still has a little heartbeat in it, we would trade it in for a AmpCoil 3.0, and you would also get the mat for free. We had limited that to the first 5 AmpCoils. Graciously, our team has said we met our 5 cap limit because these mats are very expensive. We can't just give them away for free, but they're going to honor that special through the end of July. So it's July 27th. I think that's Tuesday. The special will be done, if I'm not mistaken. I think Tuesday is already August of 2023. So that would be another way you could trade in your AmpCoil. Another way to get a free mat is to be an AmpCoil ambassador and have a referral in July. That would get you a free mat. If you were an AmpCoil ambassador and you had a full referral, meaning you did a demo and you were the first point of a lead for an AmpCoil referral in August, if you had 2 of those, we would also, we'd also give you a free mat. So now we're just going to quickly, I'm going to talk about 2 things here. You can take a picture of this QR code, and that is going to bring you to, and I'm interested in getting a mat in some form or another. And Magnolia is going to post a link for you in the chat, which you can also sign up. And that is going to have our team reach out to you and secure your spot that you want a mat, because there's some other ways we can get a mat for a really deeply discounted price. So the other way to get a mat without trading in, without buying an AmpCoil, pre-ordering a mat that's going to ship in the fall. I want to say that out loud. It's going to ship in the fall. That you're going to pay $500. So the $1,300 mat becomes $500 if you buy it in July. Again, it's July 27th. This is a limited time. This is going very, very quickly. The next best way is, maybe you want to think about it a little bit. You want to do it in August. It's still only going to be $795. So you can get a mat. You can get it at a discounted price. It's still, you save $500 off the mat anytime in August, should you decide to buy a mat, $795. And that is this QR code. That is going to be the link in the chat. So here's, I'll do 2 more boxes and then we're going to move on. We're going to talk about 2 more things. We'll do a little Q&A. Purchasing a new AmpCoil. If you do it in August, you just missed the free one, but it's still only going to be $295. So you still save $1,000. Same thing with a trade-in. If you decide to trade in your older 2.0, your 1.0, your AmpCoil checker in August, it's still only a $295 add-on to get the mat, which is a wonderful, wonderful deal. So this we did say ambassador opportunity, but the opportunity, just to be clear, in July, if you get a full referral by the end of July and you're an ambassador, you get your referral fee, which is $1,000. Maybe some people don't know that. If you're an ambassador, you get $1,000 and you get the mat. So you get this huge, huge value add. Same thing, 2 referrals in August, you get your full referral fee and you get the mat. That is pretty much it. We're really excited about the mat. Everybody loves it. It's powerful. It's full body. It's something new to play with. And it's been a while since AmpCoil has come out with a new product. So we're excited. We hope you're excited. I am going to stop the share unless we need to bring that chart back up. And we're going to go to some questions. I'm going to go to the Q&A first. Oh, I meant to type my question. Susan Wright. I used the Beamer mat before. I knew about AmpCoil. The Beamer mat did nothing for me for my Lyme disease. Later, when I found out and used the AmpCoil, it worked and did everything. What is the difference between a Beamer and an AmpCoil mat? Great question, Susan. It's really, like Kathy said, it's the cascade of frequencies which is played through the mat or the coil. The magic of AmpCoil is the software, if you were to ask me. And you know, if we really wanted to get detailed, I mean, you know, our engineer, I'm not a mechanical engineer, I'm not an electrical engineer, although I did work as a mechanical engineer from age 13 to 23. I worked for my dad. I just think that's, with all the twists and turns that life has had, it's unbelievable. Our engineer would tell you that AmpCoil is roughly 10 times stronger than one of the low-powered mats, the IMRS, the Beamer. There's another new mat called the Cloud. They're very, very, very low power. The Earth exudes 60 microtesla. AmpCoil's 10 to 14 times more robust, depending on what frequency is played. But the magic is that with different sounds, with different frequencies that come through the tablet, comes a different magnetic strength, just like your cells of your body work, just like a tree emulates. Different textures exude different oscillating patterns. That's, it's really trying to mimic nature. So that's a big difference. And I think what the mat gives you, Susan, it gives people, like I said, double the magnetic strength. Our support team will be working with people that feel like they're sensitive or they don't feel like they're getting enough. So you'll be able to adjust those treatment times, right? Again, this is a new device, so those are going to all be answered by our support teams. Nancy Hudson, if the QR code didn't work, yes, it's already in the chat. So it's in share.hsforums.com. So you can click that link if the QR code didn't work. I can bring that up as we're doing questions too. So that one's answered. I answered that one live. What is the trade-in price for a 2.0? How do I mail it? I no longer have the box. Magnolia, remind me of the trade-in price. It changed a little bit. There's a with tablet, a without tablet price. Do you have that written down?
Yeah, without the tablet, it's $4,195. And with the tablet, there's going to be an additional $350 to that for a new tablet.
Okay, so is that like a 4 or something?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So great. Martha, when you call in, yeah, for a 2.0 trade-in, you just got to ship us your device. And if you want to keep your I always say, if it's a 2.0, swap your tablet out. You're going to be on a newer tablet. It's going to have a better battery life. All the ports are new. Unless you're really attached to your tablet, then you can always choose to do that. But you can just take the device to FedEx or UPS and you can have them box it up. We will pay for the shipping. That's a really big bonus. AmpCoil will pay for the shipping on any trade-in and you'll get your mat included. Great. So answer that one live. I want to be sure that Nancy Hudson, you just give me a yes. I got it in the chat for the QR code. Answer that one live. Can you tell me the proper sequencing in turning on the tablet and the coil? This must be a trick question. It is called, we use the acronym TAP. This is for anonymous attendee: tablet, amplifier, power. So imagine your tablet is already plugged into your amplifier. We turn on the tablet, then we turn on the amplifier. Wait, the tablet's on. Wait, I'm walking through the video. I'm walking it through in my head. Tablet, amplifier, coil. Right.
You plug the cord into the tablet and then you plug that same cord into the amplifier before turning on your power.
The last thing that happens is the power to the amplifier. So I always the tablet, right, is we're going to assume it's powered on. We do this in the intro video. There's a great video, by the way, in the AmpCoil Academy on your startup. It's called your 5-minute, I think it's episode number 1, your quick start video. Assuming the tablet power is on, then you plug the audio cord into the tablet, then you plug it into the amp, then you turn on your power on your amp. Then you're ready to go. That should set up your proper pathways to signaling. But you can always reach out to support. Don't take my information as a substitute for support. I got to run and set up amp coils for restorative class. Thank you, Kathy Wheelahan. We appreciate you. Great. When we just message that in the chat, trade-in costs. Yep, for an AmpCoil 2.0 without a tablet is $4,195. So you could do the math and put that in the chat too. Is there a rent to try and buy option with the AmpCoil 3.0 and mat? Special pricing with the mat now? No, there is not, Curtis. We don't have that yet, but who knows, maybe in the future. Is the 3.0 a refurbished? If you get if the 3.0 is new, if you trade in a 2.0, you get a brand new one. Yep. What is the phone number to call? 1-800-AmpCoil. You can put that in the chat as well, Magnolia, yes? Gentle nod, yep.
Yeah.
So
yeah.
if you were to trade in, yeah, I'll just read this out loud. If you were to trade in an AmpCoil 2.0 and you get a brand new AmpCoil 3.0 and a brand new AmpCoil mat, it's 4544. It's a great deal. It's a great deal. And I'll say this, mats are going to ship in the fall. Just to be really clear, right? Mats are going to ship in the fall. It's possible you get one and your AmpCoil comes first. So that's where this is a brand new product, and the product and the shipping and the fulfillment and the development and all those things. But they're here and we have them at shows and they're functional, and there's one in Redding, Connecticut. You can go try the mat in Nevada City, California right now. I'm sure if you're an AmpCoil owner, if you want to try that mat, I bet we even get you in for free. You could try it in Austin, Texas. There'll be more and more places that will let everybody know where we could try the mat. But it is a really cool, 1-800-AmpCoil or
Nevada
415
City, California, right here at headquarters.
right here at headquarters. It's been too long since I have been in Nevada City. It is time for a trip. When you do a trade-in of the, when you do trade of a 2.0, is there more to that question, Cheryl? Janice says, how do I know what AmpCoil I have? I've had it for several years, but I don't know which one. Yeah, the 3.0 is there's two 3.0s. There's a 3.0A and a 3.0B. The 3.0A is an aluminum faceplate with a word AmpCoil cut out. The 3.0B is a gray powder coated finish. The tracker is 24 pounds. It's a little bigger than 3.0. And then the 2.0 is like 40 pounds all in. It's the big one. It's kind of in a rolling suitcase. So, but support, Janet, can always help you out if you're not sure. We can always help you out if you're not sure. Carrie says, I gotta go, celebrating my parents' 60th wedding anniversary. That's incredible. Oh yeah, no, the 3.0 is not a trade-in. You do not do a refurbished. You get a brand new 3.0 if you trade in. Great. Caroline, I went to the link from the email and used the discount code of Matt pre-order August. Is that the code?
It is Matt pre-order July.
Ah, there you go. Not August. That's why it didn't work.
Thanks for catching that, Caroline.
Yep. Good one. Yeah. Awesome, team. Well, listen, we're deep into the call. Wait, let me just check the Q&As. We're
I
almost
wanted
an hour.
to one thing
Yeah.
on those, Freddie.
Yep.
Because we have this amazing form to fill out and the phones have been busy. And I just want to encourage you to fill out the form, because if you're able to fill out that form, either for a trade-in or for a new purchase, we will honor July's promotional special for you. So that just in case we weren't able to get to you before Monday or Tuesday, we want to honor that form that you filled out. So fill out the form, get in touch with us, and get yourself a mat.
Amazing. So I think we're going to close it down, only because I want everybody to be able to get a timely dinner, especially on the East Coast. And I am going to go to one of my best friends. It's their pre-wedding weekend, who is also an AmpCoil owner, Lauren Sambataro. Love you guys so much. This is a beautiful, thank you for coming together. Thank you for everyone who shared. Thank you for everybody who feels the spark of curiosity to share on the next call. And we are here. Please fill out that form. Magnolia or someone from our team will get out to you. And remember, we went from breathing 6 times in a minute to 14 to 20 times in a minute. If you could do your one thing for your health today while you're doing your AmpCoil session, or while you're sitting at a traffic light, slow down those breaths. It's going to help everybody. Love you so much.